Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backcast, where I, Adam Upper, talk with Braydon Kenny about Batman, the animated series, and this week's episode is House and Garden. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Certainly not terrified of man-eating freaking plants.
I did, oh shit, that, what movie is that? Was it that had that huge, Venus flytrap in the back?
Little Shop of Horrors,
Yeah,
hence
they're
the word
shopping.
horror.
Yeah. Yeah, so it definitely wasn't that, yeah. So, but it was, but just as scary, yeah. But as I said, this episode is House and Garden. Every time they say that, it makes me think of like I'm at work watching like HGTV or like a Food Network show. This is the 70th episode to be produced and the 66th episode to air, having it air at May 2nd, 1994. Do you remember what you're doing May 2nd, 1994?
I believe that I was bearing witness to the news that Michael Bolton had been found to have plagiarized the song "Love is a Wonderful Thing" by the Isley Brothers.
So I guess Michael Bolton had good right to say, like, fuck that guy. That guy sucks.
There's a album that he came up with recently where he was just like making fun of like a whole bunch of movies, kind of like riff track style, but like through like song. And one was
Yeah.
really like Willy Wonka, and he's like, "Who can give you candy? Give away for free, the creepy man." He's talking about that candy store owner who's like getting like really like throwing his profits away and getting too close to the kids. Like,
And this episode was written by Paul Dini and directed by Boyd Kirkland. So I think yeah, Boyd Kirkland's getting up there for most episodes directed, I think, because that name's starting to sound familiar.
and
But do
apparently
you
this
remember?
is one of
Sorry,
Diane Pershing's favorite episodes, who is the voice actress for Poison Ivy.
no. Oh yeah, because she doesn't really have like many episodes, I don't think.
She had at least two, but then there was the Ivy and Harley episode.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, then did she? Yeah, then she got like a story and almost got him too. I think, right?
Yep.
Did she? Yeah, yeah. And do you remember watching this episode in its original airing or in reruns, or is this your first time for watching this episode?
So I saw this in syndication, but ironically enough, I only saw the ending, so I knew what the twist was. That being said, I didn't realize how like disturbing it was because yeah, well, I won't say too much now, but yeah, Batman's facial reaction is more or less mine watching some of these scenes unfold. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, no, yeah, because I had remembers I had seen this episode at one point, but couldn't remember the entire thing, so I don't did. So I didn't remember the ending of it until it was happening. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen.
It happened all right. I wish it hadn't. But yeah, the this episode opens up with this like mysterious creature breaking into this like rich guy's apartment,
Oh yeah,
and
no, not just breaking in. He was friggin' like climbing out the outside. Like it was like one of the bigger high rises in Gotham. He's just like has that little, I guess, talon claw things or whatever the fuck they were. Yeah.
mhm.
So or I'm not even sure like what they would have been on like what sort of plant unless it was like cactus like prongy things and they're just bigger because it had the growth hormone in it or something maybe.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I could almost equate it to really I think
yeah,
because I can't think of anything. Yeah, but anyway, I was just climbing up the fucking side of the building just like
yeah, and
and
making these like
then
vocal marks like
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So I said like I remember seeing that, but so I couldn't exactly remember what it looked like until I saw it. So it was just like, why is it making that noise for?
by the way, did you
But yeah,
recognize
but
the voice actor for the, well, let's just call him the Cactus Man for now.
no.
Jim Cummings.
Sorry.
Jim Cummings.
Oh, nice.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, bother.
Yeah.
So he ends up getting to like whatever like apartment or condo or whatever the fuck gets to it. Like and now that now that I'm just thinking about it now, like I was gonna say Harley, unless like Poison Ivy had been in that place before, like how would she or the plant know where the safe was? So because I went straight because I went like straight to this like I had like a like a picture frame safe on the wall sort of thing. So frame is on a hinge and it opens up the thing, but it's so fucking strong. Yeah, it just fucking it opens up and just fucking it takes a swipe and opens up the safe and just fucking starts just stealing the shit out of it. And then yeah, that's where like the person that owns a place that comes in. And I think did they have a gun? I think I can't remember.
They had a shotgun, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then they're like, "Hey, you stop," and then whatever. And then did they like jump out the window?
Well, it
Or oh
smacked
no,
him
no, yeah, they
unconscious.
took. That's right. Yeah, it took a swipe out. Yeah, because in the next scene, yeah, there's saying he was like poisoned, but they're somehow still keep them alive. And this is like what the fifth time it's happened, I think.
Yeah, he's the
Or
fifth
is it or
victim in a string of rich bachelors.
oh those crazy bachelors.
Yeah. I'd like to know what a bachelor apartment looks like by definition these days. Is it like a like closet
Or
underneath a staircase? Like,
or like Gotham bachelor apartment looks like.
mhm. Yeah, they cut to Gordon and one of the police scientists who's like analyzing it, and I think Gordon was like looking under the microscope, and he's just like saying like it's a kind of poison. I'm like, okay, the scientist would know that. Gordon, I'm not gonna say just because like he has glasses that he's a smart guy, but yeah, it's like like Gordon doesn't know what he's looking at. Like that's when
It's
Batman
some
comes in.
say some sort of poison, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's
And
right.
he's
You
like,
don't know.
And he's like, well, did you think of contacting Poison Ivy, considering, like it's a poison related crime?
This seems to be kind of her thing.
Yeah. And he says, yeah, she was the first person we thought of too, but it can't be her. It's like, why? Is she still in Arkham? She's like, actually, she completed her therapy and she got married. And Batman's like, what? All right. So
Say what?
but so before we cut to the next scene, because like he made mention here that she married the psychiatrist who treated her.
Yeah.
Conflict of interest much?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that was just exactly my next note is into that because when they go to their house, it doesn't seem to be like a Joker Harley thing where no, we'll get to it later, but yeah, it didn't seem like that where like yeah, where she made him go crazy sort of thing. It's like it's yeah, everything seemed nice. They went in, and then it was her initially, and then they were like, I totally understand why you come to me because this does kind of seem like something I would do, but I swear it wasn't me. And then the doctor comes in. And yeah, everything seems to be on the level. And then the two kids come in, and the first tip off, they run in and they both say call her mom,
Hmm.
like without any sort of hesitation. And then we find out it's like yeah, his kids.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
but I
because
guess it.
they
Sorry,
make
go ahead.
mention of here that, and as she's saying, like, I know, like, it sounds like I'm the person, like, behind all these crimes, Batman, but I swear I've changed over a new leaf. Get it?
Nope, no pun intended, or maybe
Yeah.
pun intended.
Yeah. It's like, is this what sense of humor looks like, Poison Ivy? You think this is a joke? Like, I'm sorry. But
Well, that kind of was the idea, but fucking obviously someone here doesn't have a sense of humor.
Yeah. My parents are dead.
Yeah, they died from no sense of humor.
Yeah. But the thing I find interesting with all this is that Poison Ivy, I think one of the episodes, actually, it was the Harley and Ivy episode. She was going how, like, men like abuse women and, like they like force us to servitude in this domestic housewife thing. And she's like, hi, I'm a housewife now. So that should be a tip off for Batman right away. But one thing that's of interest here, because you mentioned, yeah, they call her mom, is she says, like, they're Steven's children, but they're not mine because something to do with. So I guess that one of her abilities is her super immunity, but as a trade off, it's left her unable to have children. So I'm like, okay, like, I get that, but like, you didn't seem like you wanted to be a parent in the first place, at least not up until now. So.
That the biological clock ticks differently for each person, so you could have eventually done that. But I guess
Good point.
but yeah, we can. But I guess once we get to that, we'll find out that's may or may not be the actual case.
By the way, I love how like Batman and Gordon just roll up like on the like street. Like Batman looks like a Jehovah's Witness, like knocking on Poison Ivy's door.
Yeah, because that's because that's when the kids roll up, they're like, yeah, mom, the Batmobile's outside. And they're like, yeah, we kind of know because Batman's right here.
Yeah.
Like, come on, kids, read the room.
Batman, would you like a cup of tea? Would you like like a cookie or something? No, I haven't had a cookie since my mother. So the next scene is cut to Gotham University, where again, this has been a while since we've seen Robin. Well, Dick Grayson in this case, because he's got this girl in his dorm, and she's like, "So what do you want to do tonight?" And he's like, "Oh, like I was thinking we could study, talk, and like more or
Yes,
less that's how it goes. The exact sentence,
study each other. Wink,
yeah,
wink.
study anatomy."
I was in college. I know what study means.
Mhm. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, that sounds like fun." And then all of a sudden he whips out like the PlayStation. She's like, "Oh, it's one of those things."
Oh yeah. This is a guy in college. I forgot.
Yeah. But I find it funny that like the one time that like Dick's like finally kind of settled into like, like Bruce doesn't need me. Like half the time I'm not in this series anyway. I can focus on school and like, the benefits that come with that. And all of a sudden the phone rings and he's just like, hello. It's like, it's me. It's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I hit Batman the ultimate cock block.
Yeah. Buzzkill Batman. Yeah, and even he's like, "Do you have company?" He's like, "I did," because she just thinks he's talking to another girl and like leaves. He's like, "Oh, friggin'."
Son of a bitch. I can't even pull the hey, I'm talking to Batman card because
Yeah, exactly.
it definitely blow up my spot. So
Well, even if it's still, it's like, no, seriously, honey, I'm talking to Batman. You're not giving away the secret identity. Like,
I told you not to say that. I killed the last Robin from saying that.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So he says, oh yeah, because I mentioned that Carlisle, the doctor that Ivy married. He's both a psychiatrist at Arkham and he does lectures at Gotham University. So he's like, "Well, you go to Gotham U, so can you look into it?" And Dick's like, "Yeah, sure, sure, like no
yeah, because
problem."
he's like, yeah, I had one of his classes last year.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, he's like, is he in trouble? And he's like, oh, we'll see.
And speaking of trouble, as he's hanging up the phone, he hears like motion at the front door. He's like, "Oh, finally, she's given me another chance." And of course, it's not her. He just like looks through the door crack and he just goes, "Ah!" And it's the cactus monster come for him.
I won't call him Cactus Jack, but it's definitely not mankind in there. Yeah.
What's Cactus Jack?
Oh, that's one of Mick Foley's characters in wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a kind of was Cactus Jack. Yeah.
We can call him Cactus Jack. I'll call him Cactus Jack. So yeah, after Dick's been captured by the creature, the police are there, and like Bruce comes to look at the crime scene, and they're like, yeah, like it stands to reason, like they take him because he's a rich bachelor. I'm like, I mean, he's connected to Bruce, but yeah, like even Gordon kind of goes to say like, there's a difference here. You have something that they don't, and I just wanted him to go, my dick. So yeah, he drives away, and all of a sudden, and this is where I knew I'm like, this is 100% Jim Cummings doing the voice of Cactus Jack, because they're like he's driving in his car, and all of a sudden, from behind the seat comes the cactus monster, and it like puts its like pine paw over his mouth and says like, "Don't move unless you want another air hole in your throat." Like, jeez.
But this is too like it. Even as Bruce Wayne, like yeah, he still has Batman training. So like yeah, you would think even as like a billionaire, you should learn to fucking check his back seat. And how the fuck would you not notice that in your back seating if you didn't look?
Oh,
Because that
come
thing's
on, Adam.
fucking.
It's not like he was trained to be a ninja or something.
It's not like his car has like a smaller and like a regularly small like back seat because it's not like it was like a regular four door car.
Yeah. See, this is why, like, even though it sucks to go to the doctor for like your like annual like checkup and physical, Batman of all people should. Like, it's always like reactionary medical treatment, but like he probably has like, brain damage that's gone undetected, hairline fractures, like contusions, like all the bells and whistles. Like,
Yeah. That he's definitely probably got some sort of like low grade like CTE from all the fucking concussions he's had. Probably gotten over there from being Batman.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's that red stuff coming from your ear?
yeah, like they kind of touch on it like in the third Chris Nolan Batman movie where where like he goes to the doctor and he's like, yeah, you have no cartilage in your knee. Like, yeah, that's part like yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, but also too like he's gonna be like a like a later stage like wrestler, like a football player that has like taken a couple one too many like head knocks.
Yeah. So Cactus Jack says, like, yeah, if you want the boy, come to the docks at like midnight tonight, and or the next night,
Yeah,
because
with $5 million.
yeah, and so like he just jumps out of the car like in the
Yeah,
middle of
no,
traffic.
no, yeah. He like pushes Bruce into the steering wheel, and then like kind of like opens the door and jumps out. Yeah, just to give him the extra, couple seconds to get out. Yeah, then Bruce manages to like stop the car and then like get out, and and Cactus Jack's already fucking out of the area, so he doesn't see him. And then
Yeah.
is that when we like come right back to Wayne Manor in the Batcave?
Well, yeah, he's getting the money ready in the briefcase, but he's like, I'm not unconvinced the poison ivy's not behind this. So, I guess because he has a whole day before he has to meet with the Cactus Jack.
Yeah,
He
and this is the next day, and so that means does Bruce have $5 million sitting around the fucking Wayne Manor?
Yeah, probably not
Because it's not like
suspect at all.
it's not like 48 hours or fucking like a week or by end of the week or end of the month. He's like, yeah, tomorrow midnight. So yeah, and this is like this is the next morning because you obviously see later on like him as Batman like spying on doing stuff like in daylight before he goes to the thing.
He's
So it's
not
like
even hiding in the
yeah,
tree
yeah.
in
So,
broad
so
daylight.
so it's not like he like went to the bank and he like took out five. Like he's like, I have an emergency deal. It's only cash, so give me $5 million right now. Like it's had that somewhere in his fucking house.
Yeah. Alfred, I need a loan. Very good,
Fine,
sir.
fine. I'll just go. I'll break out my piggy bank for like the rainy day fund.
Yeah, remember the last time he needed to grab a briefcase full of money, his secretary had to do it, and it's like, where was this 5 million from? You fly to the Cayman Islands and back? Like,
Well, yeah, or I guess whoever I think it was somebody was brainwashing them that time, right? So like that's so they're not gonna be like, hey, just get it from wherever it is. They're like, yeah, just go get it from the bank or whatever the fuck, because that's the only place where random people would think you would have the money. I guess
yeah.
I would think I would guess would be the reasoning for that. Yeah. So
Bruce is probably so dumb he goes to like the stock market and he's just like, I'd like my money, please.
or,
Mr. Wayne,
or
are you actually informed of what stocks are? Yes. Money.
yeah, or that reminds me of that one South Park episode where like they had like a viral meme or whatever go online, so they go to the bank, they want their internet money.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I said what in the butt.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah. I feel
Oh.
so bad for Butters, but I love Butters, but I also love Butters at the same time.
Hey, remember, he's Professor Chaos. He made these choices.
Yeah. That's it. And then I like his the sidekick General Disarray.
Yeah,
Like that's like the one of my favorite like play on words.
that's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, as Batman is subtly hiding in a tree, as Poison Ivy's letting her kids like go off to school, and she's like doing errands, going to the grocery store, and Alfred's like, "What's she up to now?" He's like, "She just the only crime she's committed is like returned like a movie late, and she paid the fee." And Alfred's like, "Oh, just sounds like a total waste of time." Then Batman's like, "No, it's not. I mean." No, it's not.
You are.
Yeah, your parents are dead. I'm 75 years old. Of course they're dead. Yeah, so
They were dead before you were born, sir.
yeah, so like the best part though is like when he's like hiding up on the roof and like he like the place is like covered in plants. Like she's got a greenhouse in the back, so that'll come up later.
Yeah,
But
so yeah,
like
then you see him jump on the roof and like go by the chimney or
mhm.
whatever, and you see like a couple vines on it. Then he's like, "Oh yeah, nothing's going on." And all of a sudden, they start moving and grab him, and then he cut to Poison Ivy on the in her driveway, and he's basically like, it's like impolite to stare.
You're
Basically,
Poison Ivy's neighbors, and you see Batman hanging upside down, being like held up by vines. Are you not like, yeah, Sheila, we're moving. Like,
oh, well, no, if Poison Ivy's living beside you, you're just like waiting for Batman to show up. So he's like, oh yeah, it's like about fucking time you got her, Batman. She's been having there for a fucking month. Like, come on.
yeah. And who are those kids? What? Never mind. We'll get to that in a minute. But
Or like Independence Day, what the hell is that smell?
yeah, actually, it's interesting because I mean, we'll get to the twist when we get to the twist. But didn't she say like, "I hope you find him, Batman"? Like for what it's worth. How would she know that he's kidnapped unless she had some involvement in it? That shit, like again, world's greatest detective here. Like, yeah. So the next scene is Batman, or sorry, Bruce. He's got the briefcase. He's at the dock, and he's like surrounded by all these crates in the fog, and he just hears the "Have you got the money?" He's like, "First, I want to see my dick. Give me back my dick." And so
There's like twice where they kind of worded it that way, where like the writers are trying to do this like the best they can to try and like make a couple dick jokes in here.
yeah, I love like how like they had the easy out of just calling him Richard, but it's like, no, we're going with Dick. Yeah, so
Which is why I'm surprised that Richard hasn't gone by Dick more.
I've slid the occasional one his way, but that rebounded on me fast. If you guys want to know, you're gonna have to check out the doc score.
Or I guess he's probably used to it by now, so so yeah, so he knows all the. He probably has like a couple in the chamber on there ready, just
Yeah,
for whoever's doing it.
Dick's got a couple loads in the chamber. Oh, but
Yeah.
yeah. So he's got Dick Grayson, like wrapped up, like ready for the exchange, and I think the plant monster like smacks Bruce away into the water, and like you see this thing in full, like this like 8 foot tall hulking green monster with like
Yeah,
its like mouth like side like and like glaring yellow teeth and like
and like
spiky hair.
I liken it to like if you ask like a 7-year-old to like draw the Hulk from memory.
Actually, yeah, that is a good comparison.
It's
Yeah,
kind of what it looks like, and then as I said, for like fingers, it has like it has like huge like I guess like cactusy like as I don't want to say pokers or needles or whatever the fuck they are, yeah, sort of thing. Which so it is like and then like then takes a swipe at him, knocks him in the water, and he's like, my money now or mine now. He's like,
yeah.
take that, Batman. I think he says.
And so Bruce is under the water, and he had worn like a vest like to protect himself from getting poisoned. So while he's under the water, he had, I guess, made arrangements ahead of time because he roars up with the bat jet ski dressed as Batman.
The bat, I guess the bat ski, I guess.
Bat ski, yeah. You know that
Oh, it's a
Robin's like
bat.
looking at this thing. It's like, when were you gonna show me that?
Oh, it's the bat ski.
Yeah.
Making copies.
And that's the funny thing is like he uses it pretty much like as a projectile because like he rides it right out of the water and just like crashes into the docks. Like this thing is like immobilized within like 10 seconds. And the monster's just like as he like cuts a batarang through the claws and realizes like it's got a manicure. And so it runs away. So he's like to Dick, like, are you all right? He's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. So he gets dressed up as Robin, and they get in the Batmobile, and I forget like how the conversation gets onto the topic of Dr. Carlisle and his boys, but Dick's like, wait, what? What do you mean boys? Like, well, yeah, like his sons, like Chris and Kelly. And he's like, well, I met Chris and Kelly. They're in full custody of Carlisle's ex-wife. And you want another twist on the matter? They're not boys, they're girls.
I think that's where they ended up going back to the house.
Mhm.
I think at that point, and then
So
they're
as Robin's looking into the house and kind of like checking out the area as like kind of reconnaissance, Batman's like fiddling with the tank outside the greenhouse, and Robin's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Let's call it insurance." He's like, "All right." So they are inspecting the greenhouse, and they realize one of the flower beds is like retractable, so it like hides this like hidden passageway.
oh yeah, they realize it's plastic, so they're like
Oh,
figure
that's
out
true.
that
Yeah.
and then they're like then that's what tips them off that it's probably like a thing for like for a hidden staircase sort of thing for cover
Hmm.
for that.
Yeah, because I was like, why would you have a sprinkler if it's plastic? But yeah, if it's one thing of plastic amongst real plants, so that makes sense.
Or if the whole thing was could have been like that too, just like because
Hmm.
obviously if Batman didn't have a reason to go inside, he probably would have just done the what he did earlier is just kind of go up on the roof and just kind of look in and be like, okay, yeah, it's a greenhouse. So obviously there's gonna be plants in there and just take off and not actually go down and check them. But it is most likely just the one bed I would think
Yep.
because I feel like even if she wasn't doing what she was doing under there, she would be growing her own plants just out of habit or necessity. I think with her,
Mhm.
yeah, growing plants as a whole would be like more a necessity than just for something to do. I would think.
Yep.
Yeah, so they end up going down the stairs.
This was like Twilight Zone meets Goosebumps thing because like, okay, so it starts out they're looking around and it's like a hidden underground like bunker laboratory, and like there's like like plants off to the side like under like I guess like lights, and like there's a shelf full of jars, and Robin's looking at this like little tub, and like he turns around for a split second. All of a sudden, a hand reaches out. He's like, ah, and it's Dr. Carlisle. And he's like, she's crazy. She's crazy. He's like, what is it, Dr. Carlisle? He's like, she said that she wanted to be cured, but she used me. She used me, I say. And when you think that's creepy enough, all of a sudden you hear, Mommy, Mommy. And Batman turns around towards the plants that are moving. And I pretty much had like my jaw on the floor watching this, just like Batman here, because all of a sudden out of this pod crawls
There's
a
a
baby.
Yeah, basically a couple like three like Cabbage Patch Kids
Holy
crying,
crap.
crying.
I didn't even think of it. I just thought, holy shit, she's making pod people.
Well, yeah,
That's I'm surprised my mind didn't go there, but yeah, they are Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, so like Batman and Robin are just like, what the F?
the appropriate response to that situation. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And so they're like, what are they? And she's like, all of a sudden, like Ivy comes in like with a giant vine. And of course, she's like in costume and revealing, like, isn't it obvious? There are children. Batman's like, what the hell are you talking about? So it's pretty much what's happened is Ivy has like the marriage is a sham, of course,
Yeah,
because what she's done is she's been. I'm gonna let you guys use your imagination here as she explains the science, but that she's been taking samples of Stephen Carlisle's DNA. Again, figure it out.
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And she's been making like half plant, well, not even half plant, like they're essentially like genetic copies transformed into plants that like live for a couple of days. But like the two boys are like pretty much her like young versions of Steven. So like again, there's a lot of science mumbo jumbo here, but basically because she only had like him as like a male copy, so she like genetically she could only make another male copy. So like that's what they are. She's like, yeah, but I had to also use like growth formula occasionally because they go from the pod babies to Steven to eventually these Cactus Jack creatures.
Yeah.
And
It's
she
like it was like a couple 2 or 3 days or something like that. I think it was for cycle sort of thing.
Yeah, and she even made like a growth formula which she gives to them. She's like, it does cut their lifespan by half, but so like they'll only live for a couple of minutes, but that's more time than you guys have. So she sticks the plants on them, and I'm like, this is like, what the hell is going on? Like, even for a like, remember, guys, we've seen some intense stuff on this show, but this might be like the creepiest thing I've seen so far. I think when it involves like kids, like I that's
Yeah.
especially where it's just like, oh no, like well, oh
Definitely makes it a little creepy.
yeah,
Because because especially the show you're not expecting, because it's like a kids show, because they're trying to make it to like as PG as possible, sort of thing, and then they pulled this, and you're like, oh,
I just love that.
definitely
Like
wasn't
I
expecting
saw
it.
this episode as a kid, but only this scene. Like I was scarred for life.
And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. But yeah, they start fighting with them, and I think like Batman even uses like some of the like cables to electrocute them, and like Robin Robin like gets Carlisle out, and like he's like trying to escape, runs up the staircase to the garden upstairs. I love how he grabs a like pair of pruning shears, and he's just like, anybody else want their weeds whacked?
uh, no, thank you.
I don't want my weed whacked by Dick. Oh man, like I love it when like even there's been like moments on Young Justice where they just like say like, no, we're going for the dick jokes. Like we are not above that here. Like
Yeah, that then in this fight is when Batman ends up turning on the sprinklers, and it ends up turning out that he like before they went into the in the greenhouse, that when he was fiddling around with the sprinklers, that it was actually like insecticide or not insecticide,
herbicide.
weed herbicide, yeah, weed killer. And so yeah, so it rains down on the however many that the mutated peoples or whatever the fuck you want to call it. They got a couple cactus jacks, I guess,
Yeah.
and kills them, and then like Robin was like, "Oh, that's what you're doing."
Yeah. Well, even because Poison Ivy comes up and she's like, like lifts her hand up to touch the rain falling on her, and she's like, weed killer. And Batman says, I figure whatever you were up to involved plants. Really? Really, Bruce?
Well, whatever to give you that idea.
Yeah, so he's like you used his DNA to make boys. And he's like, because you weren't able to create girls. And she's like, well, I was able to create one for Ivy. And that's okay. This was a good twist because all of a sudden
Yeah.
you realize this isn't Poison Ivy. This is a plant copy of Poison Ivy because she starts melting into like a green puddle.
Melting, melting, ah.
Yeah.
So wait,
And
so the evil witch from Wizard of Oz was a plant clone too then?
yeah,
So that's why she was green.
it's all a metaphor. Yeah. But yeah, so like she's just like, looks like you weren't the only one with an escape plan, Batman. And she's just kind of like melts into nothing. And I'm like, wow, like that was actually like a crazy like last minute decision there. Like the writers are just like, how do we like make sure that like Poison Ivy gets away, but also like not kill her? So it's a very interesting kind of middle ground that they find here.
Yeah, and then like that's when the police arrive and like end up fucking wrapping everything up, and think they use whatever they find there to use as the antidote for the other people that were poisoned. But with poisoning stuff, like I would imagine if they were able to keep them alive, like how could they not just be able to have the time to actually like cure it? Because if they didn't know that what it was that was poison in them,
That's a good question.
they but or just am I thinking too much about the poisons or
No, they're just pumping them full of chlorophyll just to be on the safe side. Like we're in Gotham, like, but this is pretty much like basic medical procedure now. Like it hasn't killed anybody yet.
and then after they say that they had the antidote for those however people that were poisoned before, we see poison ivy's plane flying out of Gotham.
Hmm. Yeah, and we have this voiceover from Batman who's because like Dick says, like, do you think that's the last we'll see of Poison Ivy? He's like, Dick, it just might be because there's one thing I do believe what she said about her story, that for the first time in her life she was happy. And we see her looking over this photo album of like a couple of things. For one, Harley's in there along with a couple other like plant related things that she's done, but also a picture of her and Steven and the boys on their wedding day. And like tears are coming down her eyes. So it's like, it's a really beautiful moment because I mean, I didn't one, I knew the twist, but like even just the nature of these villains, I didn't buy that Poison Ivy like was reformed, but just that.
Uh, no, she did seem pretty sincere at in the first bit of the episode, to be
Yeah,
honest.
but I'm also familiar enough with the show that I was like, how familiar is this? It's not like she's like Clayface, like I just want to be normal again.
Yeah, well, yeah, because usually when it's like that, there's usually like a tiny bit of like winking to the camera sort of thing,
Right.
or like we're like, oh, we don't believe her, but like, like at least in this episode, for when we go see her the first time, it did
Yeah.
seem fairly sincere, yeah, more than usual, at least I felt.
Yeah, she definitely wanted something other than like just the criminal life. It's just because she was willing to make crimes to do it. That's what I like, that when the show is able to kind of explore those dimensions with their characters, especially their villains, is to show like there is a part of them that wants to do good, unless you're the Joker, in which you just want to watch the world burn.
The Joker.
Yeah.
What? I imagine. Yeah, I wonder how many more Joker episodes we have as a whole. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So, yeah. So, what would you give this episode out of five plant children?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I think that the visuals work a little too well, but hey, it stood the test of time in my memory, that's for sure. And I get what Diane Pershing means. Like, this is a really good Poison Ivy story. And yeah, I know it was actually pretty creative with, like, like the twists and turns of the plot and stuff. So yeah, no, I like it. It's one of my favorite Poison Ivy episodes.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 4 or 5 as well. Yeah, because I'll agree with you. There's some nice twists in this episode, and even though I had seen this episode before, I'd totally forgotten what they were. So it was definitely not quite the Batman reaction, but pretty close to it. Yeah, 'and then we like half expecting to see a couple like face huggers that pop out instead of children.
Nope, nope, that's not happening. I will block that out if that happens.
But yeah, definitely a 4 or 5 as well for me. I think, yeah.
John Carpenter's B toss.
All right, folks, that's the episode for this week. Thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series. And next week's episode will be their terrible trio. Okay, I was going to make a joke, but I didn't want to go exactly where I was thinking with that one. So just leave that to the imagination. You can follow us at Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast, and we are on YouTube now. So check us out there at youtube.com/ at Beyond the Backcast. There, hey, give us a rate, review, and subscribe us to us there, or wherever you find your podcasts. And where can we find you on the internet, Braden?
You can find me on my show, Beyond the. What the hell am I saying?
That's my show.
Yeah,
My show. No.
our show.
Yeah. Mine.
Let's face it, it's your show. I'm just along for the ride. As I said, you can find me on my show, Fandom and Folklore, where we talk about fantasy movies and TV shows and the fandoms that follow them. And if you want to find more of this show, you can find us on our Instagram, Beyond the Backcast, and you can look on our link tree there and find it our Discord.
All right, you can follow me on Instagram on my personal account. It's at StumpJumpin'. And as I said, thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman, the animated series at Beyond the Backcast. Goodbye, good chums. Kapow.